Hello there and welcome to Wet Liberal Weekly. Almost weekly. Not very weekly at the moment. The last couple of weeks have been very difficult. Not very difficult, I'm not mosting. They've been quite busy. I haven't been able to do a lot of videoing. Well, I've done a lot of videoing, but not for YouTube. But you can't really call it videoing. We don't call it that in the industry. That's not what it's called shooting. We've been shooting. For those of you who follow me on Twitter, you may know what I've been doing for the last couple of weeks. For those of you who don't care a shitter about Twitter, then you may have read about it in the press and seen it on the internet. But we're making a new series of Red Dwarf, a micro-series. I've decided to call it a micro-series, 4 episodes. We've been shooting at Shepperton Studios and around and about. And it's been fairly arduous, but I'm not mostly because I'm very grateful, because I really, and it's been brilliant. We've had a brilliant time doing it. It's been so fantastic, all of us getting back together. I won't go on about that, because that's not what Wet Liberal's all about. But I have spent 2 weeks, 10 days in a row under rubber, and let me tell you, that's not a whole bunch of fun.
Oh, sir, don't be such a Wet Liberal Smeed. Smeed. Smeed.
But I'm not going to moan or boast or most or post or toast any of that. I've actually had a political idea. Not something I read in The Guardian, not something I read in the Daily Tory Graph, not something I read in the Daily Fail, not a headline I saw when I walked past the bloody Evening Standard or some other nonsense piece of Metro, Sun, Mirror. No, I've had this political idea. Okay, so as a wishy-washy, slightly lefty, wet liberal apologist of the white supremacy and the history of slavery and you know, all that stuff, the colonialism, the British Empire, it's the weight we have to carry, as feminism, racism, homophobia, all those things. You know, dealing with all those things. As that, you know. There's been one area that I've been very supportive of, with the minimum wage. The introduction of the minimum wage by the Blair government of '97. They introduced a minimum wage. You can't employ someone if you pay them less than, and it's a pathetically small amount, it's a few quid an hour. That's the minimum wage. It was a big deal. Bring that in, and it certainly did make a big difference to a lot of very, very poorly paid people. I've had this idea that at the other end of the spectrum, we introduce another form of wage restraint called the maximum wage. Goes right across the board. It becomes illegal to pay anyone, and I'm not going to say a tiny amount, I'm going to say a big amount, £150,000 a year. That's my top limit. You should not be allowed to earn more than £150,000 a year. Doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter if you're self-employed, if you're a footballer in particular, if you're a movie star, if you're anyone, doesn't matter what you do, a banker. I said that word. Said the fucking B word. I swore, I was determined not to swear and I used the B word, I'm so sorry. Whatever you do, you're not allowed to earn more than £150,000 a year. So if you employ someone, if you're a big corporation and you employ someone, I just spat out some apple then. Sorry, I've just eaten an apple. Because I'm on a very high fruit diet this week because I didn't eat any fruit for the last 2 and I'm trying to make up for it, sorry.
Oh, sir.
If you employ someone, a big corporation, you employ someone and you want to headhunt, and the excuse they always give, the big corporations, is if we didn't pay him £7.9 million a year with bonuses plus a pension that will go on forever, even after he's dead, of £90 million a year, you know, then we wouldn't be able to get him because there's so much competition. No, there's no bloody competition. No one can earn over £150,000 a year. That's the cut-off point. £150,000 a year is a lot of money. Who needs more than £150,000 a year? What are you going to spend it on? Oh, what about the luxury car industry? It's fucked anyway. There's a bloody airfield full of Aston Martins just up the road. Range Rover can't give the bloody things away. Do you want to buy a Rolls Royce? They are cheap as fucking chips, ladies and gentlemen. I'll have a look through my books, see what we've got for you. Lovely. Have that one, 10 quid. No, it's all bollocks. So then what happens to all the rest of that money? Because it would be hundreds and hundreds of millions of pounds. It would be billions of pounds, wouldn't it? That didn't get paid to those toss bags in their suits in the city. Where would it go? I have no idea. So I'm not saying you tax people down to £150. You make it illegal to pay them more. You cannot earn more than 150,000 quid a year. What would be a true joy to watch is bloody footballers, wouldn't it? Those twattish young men, 22 years old, earning millions of pounds a year, for what? Kicking a fucking ball? Please, wake up everyone. They kick a fucking ball around a piece of grass. Fuck's sake. I know I've got the missing gene, I know I don't understand football, it's fine. Let them play football as much as they bloody want for 150,000 quid a year. The tickets would be cheaper, the telly companies would still probably be running because they've spent their assholes buying television rights like the fucking blinkered twats that they are. So the TV industry's on its knees. If the TV industry didn't pay anyone more than £150,000 a year, they might make some more programmes. I'm not mentioning any names of anyone, but 150 grand a year is plenty of money for anyone. I would imagine house prices will come down if you did that, because no one would buy the really expensive. The top end house prices would come down, because who's going to buy a £14 million house when you only earn £150,000 a year? But you could buy a £300,000 house quite easily. I'm just slightly worried because I've just remembered how much our house was valued for. Shit. Anyway, no one's going to, in my new regime, no one's going to buy my house.
Oh, sir.
I'm part of the fucking problem, not the solution. That's the problem with being a wet liberal. Why am I a wet liberal? Why can't I just be a liberal? Because I'm part of the problem, not the solution. I'm trying to become part of the solution. So, that's my proposal. I'm going to start writing to MPs to say, let's institute a maximum wage. I think they do the similar sort of thing in place in the Scandinavian countries. You know, the richest man in Scandinavia is only like 15% richer than the poorest man. There's a very narrow gap between the richest and the poorest. In this country, it is astronomical. It is just immeasurable. It's thousands of percent between the richest and poorest. And I think, however you look at it, as you walk past someone on the street who has fuck all, who's begging, who's cold, hungry, in the same bloody country as there's a man on a £600,000 a year pension. I know that's in the news at the moment and it's all bollocks, but that is obscene. I don't care where you stand politically. You can be a fucking Tory and find that obscene. It doesn't matter. You can read the Daily Telegraph every day and go, whatever else is going wrong, that sucks. You know, so that's my big political rant for the week. Carpool. I'll just quickly mention Carpool. Carpool on iTunes and at lutube.com. I'm just editing Joe Brand at the moment. Ruby Wax is going up this week. I'm doing Dom Jolly next week. I'm doing David Mitchell next week. I'm doing Lisa Rogers, who I used to do Scrap Heap with. She's the week after next. Who else? Loads of people. David Baddiel, I've done him. He was very good. Kathy Rogers, who started Scrap Heap and I did Scrap Heap with for 4 years, has also done one, which is lovely. And the show has been a phenomenal success, and it's very exciting for me because it's what I've been trying to do for years, and I've finally got a series that I'm proud of, that's on the internet, that so far over 120,000 people have downloaded on iTunes, and I'm pretty proud of that, and I don't care if that's considered boasting, because it's not moasting. I'm not moaning about it. I've had a brilliant time doing it. I'm boasting. There we go, a bit of unfettered boasting. Lovely. So YouTubers, if you have been, thank you for watching.